Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, has publicly vowed to hunt down and kill Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, labeling him a prime target as the U.S. Israel-Iran war escalates and its impact spreads across the Gulf region. The explicit assassination threat marks a dangerous personalization of the conflict, which has already seen oil prices explode past $100 per barrel and the effective closure of the Strait of Hormuz. The IRGC statement, reported by state media and regional outlets, declared, "If this child-killing criminal is alive, we will continue to pursue and kill him with full force." The blunt language represents an unusually direct threat against a sitting head of government and signals that Iran views the conflict as existential. The threat comes as U.S. forces have bombed Kharg Island, which handles 90% of Iran's crude oil exports, in what analysts describe as a deliberate escalation designed to cripple Tehran's economic lifeline while avoiding the catastrophic environmental and economic damage of striking oil loading terminals themselves. The U.S. has reportedly hit over 90 targets in a single major raid, focusing on military installations and command infrastructure rather than oil facilities. Oil markets have reacted violently to the widening conflict. Brent crude has surged above $100 per barrel and remained elevated for multiple sessions, representing a 40% increase since hostilities began on February 28. The Strait of Hormuz, through which roughly one-fifth of the world's oil flows, has been effectively closed to most shipping traffic due to the threat of Iranian attacks, cancellation of insurance coverage, and fears of mines or drone strikes. The war's impact on the Gulf region has exposed the fragility of traditional neutrality. Despite several Gulf states declaring that their territory could not be used for military operations by the U.S. or Israel, Iran has targeted U.S. military assets across Gulf Cooperation Council (GCC) states, with debris from intercepted drones causing fires in the UAE and missile interceptions occurring in near-daily incidents over Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and other nations. Gulf air defenses have been active daily intercepting Iranian missiles and drones, placing governments under increasing pressure to respond while avoiding direct involvement. The UAE reported temporary port closures after debris from intercepted drones caused fires, while Qatar's Al Udeid Air Base, home to U.S. Central Command, was targeted in a symbolic Iranian missile strike that caused no casualties but demonstrated Tehran's reach. The conflict has redrawn risk maps across the Middle East. Ports in the UAE reported temporary halts, emergency services in Israel dealt with missile barrages, and Formula One canceled entire race weekends in neighboring countries, a sign of how conflict spreads beyond military zones into culture, travel, and business. Iran's foreign minister has suggested forming a regional committee to investigate attacks, while emphasizing that only American-linked targets have been hit so far. However, the IRGC's explicit threat against Netanyahu and attacks on Gulf infrastructure suggest the conflict is expanding beyond its original parameters. The widening war has forced Gulf states into an impossible balancing act, maintaining diplomatic relations with Iran while hosting U.S. bases and cooperating with Israel on security. Qatar exemplifies this paradox, hosting the largest U.S. base in the region while simultaneously mediating between Iran and Washington. Saudi Arabia and the UAE have deepened diplomatic ties with Tehran since their 2023 China broker rapprochement, but now find themselves caught between their security partnerships with Washington and their desire to avoid becoming targets.